Hey everybody, it's Sajad, Stealth Amazon FBA. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 most common beginner mistakes when looking for products to sell on Amazon. I'm going to reveal these 5 mistakes, but also show you exactly how you can avoid them. They're very, very common, and unfortunately, they're a massive reason why people give up selling on Amazon FBA. So make sure to take notes so that you don't invest your time and money on losing products. So let's get straight into it. So mistake 1 is the affordability delusion. And I'm going to show you that right now on Amazon.com. We've done a search here for kitchen towels. By the way, in my last Amazon FBA product research video, I was doing a giveaway for a free Helium 10 product license. And I'm going to announce the winner in just a few moments. So this first mistake beginners make. So I've searched there for kitchen towels, and what I'm going to do, you can see scrolling down the page, many different types here, many different price points. And what I'm going to do is use my Helium 10 research tool. So it's X-ray and Helium 10. So if I click on that, I can get an idea of revenue for each of these listings. Now this is an estimate, a ballpark estimate, but it tends to be reasonably reliable. Now, this is the big problem I see in terms of mistake number 1. You can see there the revenue figures. So just to give you an idea, if I just scroll down a little bit, so we're not looking at the 4 sponsored listings at the top. So we're looking at the actual organic listings and rank. You can see there the top one is doing $130,000 in revenue. Then we've got $420,000, etc. So if you're a beginner and you have, let's say, $1,000 to invest or even $5,000 to invest, your big issue here, let's say you wanted to launch in this particular niche, is you can't afford to launch a product in this niche. And if you don't know why, don't worry. I'll do some extra kind of tutorials on that, but it's all to do with sales velocity. And the problem here is to try and rank on the first or second or even third page for a broad search like just kitchen towels. Not to mention obviously how competitive it is. You need to be selling massive volume of products. So you won't be able to afford enough to make sales of, let's say, 10,000 or 15,000 units of a product. Because to do that, you would need to invest $40,000, $50,000 and then probably another $10,000 or $20,000 just in terms of supporting the launch. And then you have to keep in mind that Amazon will only pay you for those sales usually 4 to 6 weeks after one particular sale is made. So the problem then is you need to restock your products quickly, but you don't actually have the profit from your sales to do that. So what should you do here? Well, my advice to you is to go into a niche with a lot less competition and a lot less demand if you've got a budget anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 US dollars or pounds. Those are the niches you should be aiming for, not these very high demand niches. Completely stay away from those because you'll never be able to rank, you'll never be able to restock. This is something perhaps you can look at once you've built your Amazon business and you've got decent cash flow. The second massive mistake is the time factor. Now, when it comes to product research, it does take a lot of time initially to invest in the right product. Now, what is the right product? I've done a search here for baby monitor, and you can see here many different types. Some of you who have children may have used this, some of you don't. But if you don't know enough about this product, you have to research it in depth. So what that means is you need to try and learn about exactly how it works. My recommendation is, for example, many people have launched products on Amazon and they've never actually purchased that product yourself. If you're trying to sell a baby monitor and you've never purchased one, or you don't know how it works, I would highly recommend actually buying one, going through the different types of functionality, maybe speaking to family and friends to see what issues they may have had with these types of products, having a look through the reviews. You need to know how these products work before you consider investing in one. Don't just invest because it's got decent revenue figures, you've looked at the profit margins. Actually learn more about the product. Now, this can easily be done in a short period of time as well. It could take you a couple of days, but it's going to be multiple hours of research in any particular niche. As an example, let's have a look at the title of this particular product. Do you know what 2.4G means? Do you know what wireless would mean in this particular niche? Home security camera, how would that change in this niche? Is that what people are looking for over and above just a basic baby monitor? Two-way audio motion, what does that mean exactly? detection, night vision. Again, what does that mean exactly? And then you've got words like baby, pet, nanny, elderly, compatible. What do they mean? iOS, Android, what does that mean? Obviously, we know it's to do with phone systems, but you want to go into it in a lot more depth. Are there things that it's not compatible with? What about the resolution of the screen? Is it 4K, 1080p? So you see what I mean there? It does take a lot more research, and you have to go kind of offline, off Amazon to do a lot of that. Have a look at some YouTube reviews, for example, of different types of baby monitor. There are very, very high quality reviews there, where a YouTuber might go through each particular function in depth. That's what you need to do. And I would highly recommend either on a Google document or just a Microsoft Word document or Apple Pages, making lots and lots of notes for each particular product you're looking to launch. You should have at least 5 or 6 pages of detailed notes about that product. That's how you're going to win on Amazon, because then when you go to Alibaba, and I'll discuss this later in terms of customization, then you'll know exactly what you're looking for and where the trade-offs are. For example, one particular product that you found on Alibaba from a manufacturer, it may have 90% of the functionality you're looking for, but it's missing that extra 10%. But you might still go for it because it might be 50% cheaper than that other product you're looking at that has 100% of the functions. Don't always assume you have to go for the product that has everything, because it's going to be very difficult in certain niches to sell at the high end. More often than not, I actually go for lower end in a particular niche because I'm looking for volume of sales and high profit margins more than anything else. So that leads me on to mistake number 3. And this is a massive one. So that mistake is profit margins. And I'll show you very easily how to determine that right now. But just before I discuss it, the Helium 10 giveaway winner, you'll see at the bottom of the screen right now, the name, or well, channel name of the person who won the competition. Can you please contact me as soon as possible on admin@amazonwizard.co.uk and we'll arrange your free Helium 10 license for you. So profit margins, again, I'm using the same product research tool. So there are a few different ones you can use, but I prefer Helium 10. Now on this particular listing, this is just kitchen towels. If you scroll a little bit further down, you'll see a revenue calculator here. Now this is key because you'll see here selling price of this particular listing, but more importantly, the fees of comparable products here. And for FBA, which means Amazon is going to send your kitchen towels to a customer for you, and that includes the fee for you advertising on Amazon's marketplace, you'll see it's quite high, it's $7.97. So let's call it $8 for a $17 product. That will leave us, after Amazon takes its fees off, Amazon will send us $9 per item we actually sell. Now, the problem here is if you order this particular towel and you include shipping and all other kind of landed costs, and you get it to an Amazon fulfillment center for $7 or $8, you're not going to be making much money on that product. And beginners always miss this step. It's very, very important to make sure the profit margins are good. But where do you take this one step further? Well, let's talk about our example again of baby monitors. This is where, again, you have to look at trade-offs. You'll find some cheaper baby monitors, which might sell in higher volume, but the profit margins there might be quite tight. But then you might find that just to add a couple of extra functions from your manufacturer, you may be paying $2 more or $3 more. But if that causes you to be able to sell that product for $40 or $50, you can see that that's a really good trade-off. I'm adding $1 or $2 for the product, but I'm able to sell it for $10, $20 more. However, you might get the opposite scenario where actually to add all of these fancy options and make it a 4K baby monitor, you might actually have to pay your supplier $20 or $30 more. But then suddenly to actually make extra revenue, profit on that extra that you're spending, you need to sell for $80 or $90. But then suddenly the niche is a lot smaller for you. You're selling at the high end, and at the high end, everything about your product has to be absolutely perfect, which is why I personally don't go too far high up. So let's say there's a grade of a baby monitor and you can buy them from anywhere from $20 all the way up to, let's say, $100, and that's 80% of the items. I prefer to go for the $30 to $40 range where I get the best trade-off of profit margin as compared to my cost for the product. However, if I aim for $70 to $90, the problem there is it's very high end and the volume of sales will be a lot lower as well. So it's a bit more of a risk, and actually investing in the product at the beginning, it will cost me a lot more as well. So that's not great either in terms of cash flow, in my opinion. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, please click the like button and also comment below. I really appreciate the support I'm getting for this channel. And if you want to be notified of any new Amazon tutorials I put out there, just click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll know. So what is mistake number 4? Again, this is a massive one. So I call this dead time. So what do I mean by that? Well, this is the time from you actually making a payment for your product to actually getting it selling on Amazon and making your initial few sales with your various promotions. The problem here is a lot of beginners, they look at kind of, again, high demand niches, and they find one where perhaps it's got a good success score or opportunity score, something like that. But what they've not realized is that the time it takes for them to actually get that product selling could be many, many months, especially with sea shipping, but especially if you actually have to manufacture that product from scratch. Which is why a lot of the time, what I actually do is I purchase products which already have all of the functions I need, literally off their shelves. So I check that the supplier actually has it in stock. Now you don't have to do this. You can kind of customize your own product as well. But one quick way to get started is to use that off-the-shelf product for your first, let's say, few hundred units, and then customize it for your restocking. Because honestly, Amazon customers don't really care that much if you've got your brand name on that baby monitor, or if that sticker is not there or it's not molded in. The problem is if you're customizing it from scratch, your manufacturer actually has to make a mold of that product, which will take a lot of time. So it might take them 20 to 25 days to prepare your product, then another 3 months to actually ship it, and then it might take 2 weeks for Amazon to get it back into stock and active on the Amazon marketplace. So if you add all of that up, you've paid, let's say, $5,000, and it's 6 months later that you're actually now starting to sell the product. And the other thing is, obviously, in that 6 months, a lot could change in that particular niche as well. Trends change all the time. Now, there are a lot of stable niches, and that's why I advise going for them first for complete beginners. Don't mess around with any of the trending niches, but you see my point there with dead time. So how do you overcome this? Well, if we were using the same example here of baby monitors, I would be looking to buy one that's off the shelf, and I'll be looking to purchase one that is quite light. So I would want to click on one of these listings and check the weight of the item. And you can do that very easily if you scroll down. There are a couple of places which can help here, but if you're using Helium 10, it tells you very quickly there the item weight and the package weight. And you want to be very, very careful, because if you're trying to sell a product that is more than, let's say, 300 or 400 grams, then the problem you have is sea shipping is the only option to make it cost effective. And you want to avoid that, especially if you're a beginner. Try and go for air shipping. It's much more flexible. You can get your products within 7 to 10 days, and you can kind of start working immediately on getting a return on your initial investment. The final massive mistake I see beginners make all the time is customizing products. So what do I mean by that? Well, we've been talking about baby monitors anyway, so let's talk about baby monitors again. This is one I've taken from Amazon.com, and you can see here it's got 6,000 reviews, lots of sales history and velocity. Now, if we scroll down here, very often beginners, what they do is they look at reviews to see how you can customize your product. That's absolutely fine, but remember I told you initially you need to spend extra time actually learning about your product. A great tip I have for you is to scroll down to the Q&A section. Now you'll see this on any product in any marketplace on Amazon. You'll see a customer's question and answers at the bottom. But what you want to do is you want to look at one where the listing has a lot of revenue, lots of reviews, because then you get more information. Now this is a gold mine in terms of information, because what you see here is answers not only from the seller, sometimes never from the seller actually, is from all the other people who actually purchased this product. And you can see here 230 answered questions. Now when you're customizing, you can see here questions like, can the two different units communicate with each other? Let's have a look at some more. Can these be used for elderly people to communicate on separate floors? So you see, this is all learning about the product. And then you find out from the answers that, by the way, there are Amazon customers who are a lot more knowledgeable than sellers, certainly more than I am in certain niches. For example, some of them can be electronics experts. So they can actually provide a better answer than the seller on Amazon. That's why I read through them when I'm selecting a product to sell on Amazon. For example, they'll give you information here about the operating range. This happens to be actually from the seller of this particular listing, but you see some of these other answers are not. And you need to know all of this information when you're selecting this product to sell. You need to know the functionality of the product. And I'll give you a bonus tip here as well for this video. So you can see we're back on kitchen towels. And there are several different types of kitchen towel. Let's say you're customizing a product, whatever product it is, and you don't know which color to go for. There'll be many different colors. Let's say it's an electronic product. You can get it usually in black, white, silver, rose gold, for example. How do you decide? Now, there are several different ways to do that, but one of the tips I can give for you is go onto Helium 10 again in the Chrome extension, and then you want to click on Review Insights. And then you want to click on Extract Reviews. Don't do anything else in terms of the settings here. What's interesting here is Helium 10 can actually give you a review share. It's not always easy with product research software to kind of detect which particular variant of a listing is doing better than the others in terms of sales volume. But you can see in terms of review share, the gray one is winning and the blue one, but look at the difference. The pink towels, only 1% of the reviews. Now, we can't say for 100% sure if when they created this listing, they created it with all of the variants or they added them later. Now, there is a trick way to add variations later to your listing. If you want me to do a separate video on that, just comment below. I'm more than happy to do that for you and explain to you how to do that. But let's assume that it was from the beginning. Now, you see here why it's so significant. Because if you're ordering products, a lot of people, what they do is they order, well, let me order 400 of each color and see what happens. Well, the problem you're going to have is the pink one that you order is not going to make any sales at all. So you're going to have, again, kind of dead inventory there. That's a waste of your money when it comes to cash flow. What you would want to do is actually order, say, 1,700 of the gray and maybe only 50 of the pink. Or leave the pink one entirely. Leave the one that's camel colored entirely. Maybe even the dark green. And maybe have a look at other color options here. So just by that review share, we can sometimes get an inkling or an idea of which variation is doing better. So I'll leave it there for now. Hope that's helpful. Thanks very much for listening.